We're talking about negotiating with a debt collector. So Michael, what can you expect when you're trying to negotiate a deal with a debt collector?
Well, you're going to have a conversation. This can't be done in writing, very rarely, so you're going to be able to use the telephone. And most of the time these days, you're going to find a very open person on the other end to come into some kind of arrangement with you where you can reduce the overall balance, sometimes in a lump sum and sometimes with a reduction and payments. 3-6 months is pretty common. You have to be ready to fund that offer, but that's what you should start with as expectations.
So you have to know your bottom line. I mean, you have to know what you can afford to pay the debt collector.
Absolutely.
And speaking of afford, a lot of people think that debt settlement means that you have to save a little bit of money over a long period of time. In my experience, the people who are best to settle their debt are people who have access to cash now and can make settlements quickly.
So how low do debt collectors go? I mean, how little will they accept on a debt?
You know, it does vary from one collector to the next. I mean, basically there's timing issues. Sometimes it's best to settle debt at the end of the month or at the end of a 2 or 3 month period because it's just an assignment collector and the account's going to get yanked back from them because they haven't been able to collect from you. So there's timing factors and they change if you're dealing with a debt buyer who's hired a debt collector or they're collecting their own debt. But on average, if you can prepare yourself financially to fund a settlement in and around half of the balance and you come in below that, great. If you come in around that, you are prepared.
So start a little bit lower, it sounds like you're saying, so you have some negotiation room.
Sure. Actually, you can start as little as 10-15%. Most debts dealing with outside third-party assignees and debt collectors that are working for debt buyers do tend to settle around the 40% range.
So can you do this on your own?
Settling debts, a consumer can do absolutely on their own. People have been having even more success with that recently than in years past. All you really need is to know a couple of the tips and tricks, things to do and things not to do. There's more not to do's than to do's, so you have to be careful. There are tools and resources out there, Consumer Recovery Network being one of them, for as little as $99 that you can get all the information you need to be even more successful in settling your debts on your own and even work with a professional and be assigned to work with them, have access to them unlimited, one-on-one.
And when you are hiring a debt settlement company, make sure that you're not paying loads of advanced fees for their services. You can find a debt settlement company that will be willing to work for you and only charge you fees when they deliver their performance. To learn more, visit getoutofdebt.org. We'll be happy to help you for free.